Hello, everybody, and welcome to Freestyle Friday. I certainly do wear a lot of black, don't I? The reason, of course, is because I am the new Black Power. No, I'm just playing. Um, I am going to be doing some voice acting today. Well, not really voice acting per se. It's more like what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening up Audacity, which is a free audio editing thing that you can download, and it's actually a whole lot of fun. It's got a whole bunch of gizmos on it that I barely know how to use, but I've used it to make a whole bunch of different voice impressions that I do on another channel that I'm going to actually have in the link. I'm going to have a link in the bottom, but so yeah, we're gonna open that up, and I'm going to show you how I do some of the voices that I do over on that channel. Now, there's not a whole lot of voices on that channel as of right now, and the reason is mostly because I don't put anything on there unless I have the commitment to record as much of it as I possibly can, make sure it all sounds at least passable. Like not all of it is good. I'm gonna put that out there right away. Not all of it is very good, but it's all a work in progress to try to learn to become a better voice actor. Because I want to be a voice actor someday, and I know that people out there are like, you being a voice actor, what with your scratchy voice and your ums and your waffling, how could you ever possibly? Well, I'm going to try. I mean, don't crush my dreams right out the bat, man. Right out the bat, man. Right out. I am the knight. But yeah. So I'm gonna open up Audacity and we're gonna have a little fun. All right. See you in a second. All right. Hello, everybody. I've switched to a different recording method so that I could do this. You can't really see it over there, but I'm actually using a free Minicam. Uh, it's another software thing that I use. It's free, but it has the little watermark there. If you pay $20, you can get rid of it. But screw it. All right. So what I'm gonna do is you'll notice that I didn't previously modify my microphone like I did on a Roleplay Thursday yesterday to make the sound a little better. The reason I didn't do that today is because I always have to change it for when I do voice acting, and I didn't want to have to change it and then have me change it again, and suddenly it's like everything's broken. So we're gonna do that now, and we can actually do that through Audacity, which is really nice. So let's 80 right there. So now it'll pick up 80, and actually, let's test this here. So let's actually, okay, so let's actually change. Let's actually change that. All right, so now I need to put it up a little bit closer to me so that I can do the voices. And the first one I think I'm going to do is the one that I did for a new Barak. A new Barak is a World of Warcraft creature who's sort of a carapaced, like a beetle, basically. But he's this large creature that used to be a king of an ancient spidery race. The original voice for him in Warcraft 3 and in World of Warcraft was it's just an incredibly deep voice, something that I can never do. And they added a bit more bass to it so that it sounds extra deep, and then they added some clicking in the background. And it sounds pretty darn good. But because I couldn't do that, I decided that I would change it and make it something that was equally as believable as being the voice of this creature. So I did like this, and I added a slight accent to my voice, and I rolled my R's, and that is how I created a new Barak. And then what I did was I layered it so that it was double layered, and then I added a little bit of an echo as well. The clicking happens in the background just from the rolling of the R's and that accent, it just sort of happens naturally through the dueling process, so it sounds pretty good, I thought. So I'm going to do that now and show you exactly how I did it. I was an emperor once, long ago. Then the master came. We were slaughtered and rose into undead. Now I return as conqueror. I am a new Barak. I ruled once before. I shall rule again. So that was actually pretty bad. There were a few moments in that I could have improved upon, and I actually ended up blending a whole bunch of his quotes together. Usually I have a list up that has a whole bunch of things that he actually says, or like a script. I usually have something, but this time I just decided to freestyle it just so I could show you exactly how I did it. So now it's gotten all recorded. I was an emperor once, long ago. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to make it fit the screen here, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in extra small and cut out this tiny little chunk here. And that will actually alter the sound just a little bit. I was an emperor once, long ago. See, that already sounds pretty cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a echo. Or I could add a reverb. Which one sounds better? So that actually sounds pretty good. I might do that instead of an echo. And then you see how it made everything really big, and it actually breaks right here, so I'm actually going to have to normalize it, which will just reduce the sound and try to make it a little bit more bearable. There you go. And let's see how that sounds now. I was an emperor once, long ago. Then the master came. We were slaughtered and rose into undead. See how I sort of tried right there to make a rose, but I actually failed right there for some reason. Not every take is ever going to be perfect. The nice thing about voice acting is that you usually do a whole bunch of takes, and then the person whose job this is will actually cut out the bad parts and stitch in the good parts, and it'll make it flow a little bit better. If I wanted to, I could do that now, but that's sort of a bigger job than I can really do in only a few minutes. So we're not going to do that this time. Another good thing that I could do here is I could actually lower the pitch a little bit. I don't generally like to do that just because it's no longer my voice at that point. It's now a fully altercated version of my voice, but with a lot of games and with a lot of things where voice acting is necessary, cartoons and whatnot, you know, all the bets are off with that. It's like you create the voice, and then whatever the engineers decide to do with it, they're gonna do. So I try not to let that bother me too much. And actually, once a voice no longer sounds like me at all, personally, because I have a little bit of an issue listening to myself talk, I actually find myself personally enjoying it a little bit more because it no longer feels like it's me. But you know, that's sort of a bittersweet thing, because then it's no longer me anymore. It's no longer me doing the voice. It's the fact that I've edited it to the point where anyone could do it, really. But let's change the pitch and just see how it sounds. See how it sounds? Hear how it sounds. See, that doesn't sound too bad, but it also doesn't sound too different that you would think that it's not still me. See, it's a very slight change, and I'm actually kind of okay with that. Push it up to 6, why not? 6 is usually a good pitch change to do. I was an emperor once, long ago. Then the master came. see, the problem with the problem with going down a pitch like that is you have to know you're going to do that before you do the voice. So usually I would do something like this to set up. It's like, okay, this is how I want it to sound. Now I have to do it with the intention of it sounding this way, so I can do it again with it a little bit lower, with my voice prepared to be deepened. So I do it a little bit slower and a little bit more methodical. That way, it shows that I'm prepared to make it go a little bit lower in pitch, so it doesn't go full growl. And that doesn't usually sound all that great when it's put through the voice changer. If you want to hear what that's like and like sort of get confirmation on that, I have some on there like Meg Theridin was actually pretty darn good, but Manaroth that I did was kind of crap, where I just made my voice go as low as it could with a scratch without coughing. And actually that was a little let me take a sip here. This is Lipton black tea with honey in it instead of sugar. I don't really like honey, but it definitely helps my throat when I do that. To do voice acting, I find experimentation is a must, and sometimes you hit that thing where you can't, it hurts, and you end up coughing, and that's just something that happens. And the funny thing is, I can actually do that voice without it having any problems, and it sounds only slightly different, but because it does sound slightly different, I'm usually hesitant to do it because I'm such a stickler for sound when it comes to my own voice. Anyway, so I hope that was informative and a little bit fun, and you could laugh at me making silly voices into the microphone. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
I was an emperor once, long ago. Then the master came. We were slaughtered and rose into undead. Now I return as conqueror. I am a new Barak. I ruled once before. I shall rule again.